And we're live. Hello everyone, this is Dwight Woods, Jeet Kune Rebel, and welcome to the I Love Jeet Kune broadcast number 70. This is the one about Jeet Kune and its guiding principles. So as you guys are logging in, do me a favor and say where you're logging in from, and hit the like button, and then continue to hit the like button during the broadcast, so that Facebook realizes we're having a good time and they assign some algorithmic relevance to what we're doing. Hey, Kevin Porter. So let's do this, right, as people are logging in. Okay, so I'll tell you the origin story for today's broadcast title. I finally got back to reading. It's a heck of a read, 700 and something pages, right? So I got back to reading Bay Logan's epic tome, Bruce Lee and I. Like I said, great book. I'm not so sure about the grammar of the title. And I was pleasantly surprised to find in a chapter, I think it's called Disciples of the Dragon, which is a little bit like Paul Boxe's book, Descendants of the Dragon. But I was surprised to find in there a glowing endorsement of Dan Inosanto as the titular head of the Jeet Kune family. In fact, Bay mentions a bunch of my past Jeet Kune dialogues partners in that chapter, people like Chris Kent and Burton Richardson, as well as hopefully some upcoming dialogue partners, people like Jeff Imada, Cass Magda, and Salem Astley. Right. So anyhow, reading that brought me back to thinking about stuff that I've heard Sifu Inosanto say over the years, and I recall one of my favorite is him saying, "If you get the technique, you'll get one thing. If you get the principle behind the technique, then you will get it all." Right? And so I thought I'd go look around at different JKD materials and then talk today just a little bit. This is going to be a short broadcast about Jeet Kune's guiding principles. And the pictures that I use for the ad, the Philosophical Art of Self-Defense book, the Wing Chun book, the Tao of Jeet Kune, the Fighting Methods book, and then John Little's commentaries on the martial way. I use those because I think that if we want to hear about Jeet Kune guiding principles in Bruce Lee's words, then those books were probably the ones that were formulated out of his mind and out of his notes, etc. Right? But I think then the best place probably, I mean, this is up for debate and discussion, is on page 23 of the Tao in a section. Let me see if I can find it here for you. So it's this section here called The Facts of Jeet Kune. So there's like 16 things listed there. I'm not going to go through them individually, but suffice to say that essentially they cover these kinds of areas. So one is to start out, right? Begin your journey, let's say, in Jeet Kune with an intention towards totality rather than partiality in structure, right? So right from the beginning, aim for totality in your structure rather than partiality. Also, commit to your training. The phrase that Bruce Lee used is the continuous sharpening of your tools, right? So commit to totality in structure and also commit to your training with an emphasis on development of strength, right? So we're talking about the physical training, development of strength and fitness training as well. A huge emphasis on mobility and agility as prerequisites for what Bruce Lee would call expressive physical movement, right? As he would say, learning how to put yourself into your movement. the use of impact training. So that means equipment training, right? Hitting stuff, and which you have to remember, put this into historical context. In the 60s and 70s for martial artists, there was a lot of training in the air primarily, right? But here Bruce Lee is advocating the use of impact training, striking equipment, but not just in motion, not just stationary, but also in motion, kind of like focus mitt training with a partner or what have you, right? Well-roundedness in skill, right? The ability to kick and punch, as well as, and this is direct quote from the Tao, strong in fighting with shifty blasting, throwing, grappling, and immobilizations. Another factor is economical movement, including directness, right? So he means hitting from where you are without telegraphing your movement, right? So economical movement, including directness. A grasp or an understanding of rhythm, as well as physical and mental flexibility. Another quote is loose power, and I love this one, and powerful thrust drive, right? Reminds me of the drive I took in a Tesla S-Class, I think it is, last weekend, right? Powerful thrust drive. This is not the supermodel that Sifu Nick would drive. This is the 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds, not the 0 to 60 in 2 seconds that Sifu Nick would be into. Loose power and powerful thrust drive, a springy looseness, as well as a pliable mental awareness, right? So that takes us back now to the beginning with an intention towards totality rather than partiality, and a commitment to training, which is as much a mental commitment as it is a physical commitment, right? The ability to flow between different combat skills, and that ability is acquired through another direct quote, all-out sparring. And then the final part is true relationship, individual expression rather than mass product, aliveness rather than classicalism. So I would, those are my interpretations of that material, but the source material is page 23 of the Tao of Jeet Kune entitled The Facts of Jeet Kune. What's interesting is that at the bottom of that page, I mean, it's all interesting, but on that same page, there's a section entitled The Formless Form. And here, I'll read this directly, well, essentially, right? He says, please do not be concerned with soft versus firm. So you might remember that back in the 60s and 70s, the days of Kung Fu, right? There was this idea of soft style versus hard style. And Bruce Lee was the one who famously said the difference is not two, right? As in soft versus hard. So please do not be concerned with soft versus firm, kicking versus striking, grappling versus hitting and kicking, long range fighting versus infighting. Should there be one thing we must guard against, let it be partiality that robs us of our pristine wholeness and makes us lose unity in the midst of duality. Right? So I'm going to read that again, because this one's really insightful. Please do not be concerned with soft versus firm, kicking versus striking, grappling versus hitting and kicking, long range fighting versus infighting. Should there be one thing we must guard against, let it be partiality that robs us of our pristine wholeness and makes us lose unity in the midst of duality, right? And I think some people here would agree that there has been somewhat of a loss of unity in the JKD family, right? So here was Bruce Lee years and years ago writing about it and preaching against it, okay? All right, so that's it. A brief look at JKD and its guiding principles. Feel free to share, like, and comment. Ask questions if you want. I will review everything after posting. Sign up for notifications for when we go live on Facebook, and then when we post the final edits on the YouTube channels for both this, the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast, and the Jeet Kune Do dialogues. Follow me on Twitter at Dwight Woods, on Instagram at Dwight D Woods, at ilovejeetkunዶ.com. The Quick Skills series Volume 1 is still available, and coming up on Friday, March 29th. Jeet Kune Do dialogues, it'll be like today at 4 p.m. instead of the regular 3 p.m. starting time. That's just for this week. We'll go back to 3 p.m. next week. But Jeet Kune Do dialogues episode with Matt Emery of Emery Martial Arts in Los Angeles. And Matt was one of the figureheads for the recently concluded Taki Kimura 95th birthday celebration, as well as the Junfan Kung Fu Instructors Conference. So that's Matt Emery at 4 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday, March 29th. And I'll see you back here same time next week for another issue of the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast. This is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Do Rebel. Today's a blue day. All right, there's the blue jean photograph. There's the shirt. All right, you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Take care. Have a good one.